Hi, welcome back to another video. I'm Phil, this is Factorio. I'm in my starter base right here, we won't talk about that. So this is my style of train base. I'm just getting started in this playthrough. My first playthrough of Space Age, I was in a hurry to get to space. So I just spaghettied the absolute crap out of Navis just to get off planet and explore some of the new worlds. So this playthrough, I'm trying to be a little more deliberate and set up a good um, groundwork on Navis before I leave. So after my starter base, I've got some smelters over here. These are pretty early game. I haven't had the need to upgrade them yet. You can see they're still in the early game furnaces, inserters, and everything. But they're churning out a solid 4 belts, 4 yellow belts. Same thing with copper over here. Then I've got a plastic build down here. This thing is pretty big for this stage of the game. It's got all these oil refineries and everything producing petroleum just to try to satisfy this plastic plant here. This thing is super thirsty for petroleum. So you can see it's only running at about like half capacity. That's because my blueprint that I made for this actually calls for level 1 speed modules in all of these plants. Not all of it, but just, you know, some amount, like one level 1 speed module in each plant, I think. Something like that, in order to keep this satisfied with petroleum. So it keeps running dry right now. But after I can afford speed modules, I can beef this up a little bit, get full output. I've got my green circuit factory over here. Churning out 4 yellow belts of green circuits. This is definitely overbuilt for what I need right now, but you know, good to have it overbuilt early. That way I don't have to add a second one as soon. And then down here, this is absolutely ridiculous for this stage. This is my red circuit station down here. Seems to be out of copper right now. Yeah, turns out it's only one yellow belt of red circuits, but that requires all of these assemblers. I made this little, you know, Gordian knot thing down here to take the four red belts of green circuits and plastic, put them on half a belt each, and then take those 16 belts and merge them together into, you know, combined belts in order to feed all these things. So this is definitely overkill for this stage. Got my steel plant up here. This thing's all maxed out, I guess. All backed up. But yeah, this produces just one red belt of steel. But that takes a decent amount of machines at this stage in the game. Of course, I'll make better blueprints for all these once I get the space age buildings and such. So these are my These are my four-way intersections I'm using right now. I'm not using my fancy elevated one because I don't have the elevated rails researched yet. I like how this one looks, but it has a pretty huge problem, if you can tell by the blocks. Is it like these blocks on each side? It's one big combined block, so you can't have trains going opposite directions through this block, which normally you should be able to. You should be able to have trains pass each other without interfering. But I can't fix this intersection because there's not enough space in here to put signals. So that's just how it is right now, but at some point I'll take the time to make one a little bit bigger so that I can signal it properly in there. Well, I got my giant refueling station here. Just takes a coal station here, then it has all these refueling stations. Each of these has a train limit of 1. And then the trains, they are set up so they have an interrupt to refuel. And they wait till it's fully fueled. The reason I like to do my refuel stations like this with so many stations is because I find trains like this one will just come here and sit, waiting on their next thing to open up. And so if you just have a few stations for refueling, they tend to get backed up when you have trains like this sitting waiting on something to open up. So my next step here, I've maxed out all my research in this starter base. I need to get either space science or, you know, purple and yellow science so that I have more stuff to research. So my next step is to come out here somewhere and build a new station and set up the rocket silo, probably so that I can just get the space science started, along with new factories for the science packs. Alright, so I'm going to give that a shot here in the editor. I'm going to take my multi-station blueprint, put it down here. Then I need to see what I need for the rocket. I'm going to need blue circuits. I'm just going to set them up to do 1 per second, just so that it's an early, you know, starter rocket launcher. Alright, here it is in operation in the editor. So, not churning out a huge amount of blue circuits, but it's something. That'll get me started on space science. And then once I get farther and I'm ready for higher throughput, I'll redesign, make a different station that can launch rockets much faster. I'll go ahead and blueprint that. Take out the editor things. Right. Okay, here we go. Producing a little trickle of low-density structures. Again, we'll do better builds for this once we get farther along. Actually, I didn't notice. This needs more than one yellow belt of copper. Wasn't paying attention to that. Let's make that a red belt, actually. Full red belt of copper will be plenty to keep all of these full. Right, here we go. Another. Oops. Right. And this should produce approximately 1 rocket fuel per second. Okay, I'm placing down my station. So I'm going to need copper, steel, plastic. Take my unloading blueprint. Copper. Steel. Plastic. Green circuits. And red circuits. That was all the item ingredients. Go ahead and downgrade those belts. And fluid ingredients. It says light oil and sulfuric acid. I might actually just take oil. Two copper, two green circuits, and then just one of the other ingredients. Okay, I got my ingredients here, just feeding in from the editor extensions temporarily. Let's put the low density structures first. So switch from the two of the yellow belts to the one red belt. And let's see, is this the only thing that takes... Yeah. Yeah, this is the only thing that takes the steel and the plastic. Let's get rid of those. Okay. Got those hooked up. Okay. Now I just brought in the oil, so I'm gonna need to refine that. This small one should probably be good. Unfortunately, that means we'll need to be close to water in order to get this to work. But I think it's going to be worth it. Take the lubricant out. I don't need that. Okay. Okay, actually, rather than bring in iron for the to make sulfur, or to make yeah, to make sulfuric acid. Rather than do that, I'm just gonna bring in sulfuric acid from somewhere else. I'll go ahead and keep the oil. Okay, now the blue circuits are all working. So I got 2 out of 3 of the ingredients hooked up to the station. I'm actually going to change around my design. The one I had used just light oil. I'm going to just make it use petroleum and light oil. So to use light oil for these, and then petroleum for the solid fuel. This requires 10 of these. We just need the rocket silo. Well, even though it's pretty early, we should put some productivity modules in it. I'm not sure if in my regular game I probably won't be able to get the productivity 3s, but I'll just put those in as placeholder for now. Alright. So there it is. Rocket station set up. I think I have all of these resources available on my rail network already. So it should just be plug and play for the most part. Alright, now I'm back here in my starter base. Collecting some electric engines. I've got a little concrete build here. Just stocking up on some concrete. Eventually I'll want to pave over my real base with concrete. I got a janky little rocket control unit here, collecting all the ingredients. Just need a few more of these electric engines and then the processing units. I'll get those processing units from the new blueprint that I set up. I'll just grab them, bring them back over here once that starts running. Alright, now we had to move it a little bit. I just kind of wedged it in between all of the different lifts that are around here. So we got all of our materials set up here. Got our copper, steel, plastic, green circuits, red circuits, oil, and sulfuric acid. Everything's been brought over. I do need to hook up the water. Just drop a little pump here. Right, now our oil production can get started. Alright, let's set this up. Okay, we got all our materials flowing in here. Now we can watch it get started. We got our low density structures down here getting kicked off. Just waiting on the plastic. Rocket fuel kicked off right away because it has the fluid ingredients. So that's starting to get backed up here. Got our first low density structures building. There's our first blue circuits, or processing units. Alright, so got it all hooked up in my real world. Just need to get some of these collected so that I can build the rocket silo. I'll continue this if there's any interest in it. Next steps from here, of course, get the rocket silo set up. get the science platform out in space, start getting space science, set up a research center that can take all that, then work on purple and yellow science. Thanks for watching.